Now, as we move beyond Spenser and Shakespeare, let's not forget the other Elizabethan and early Jacobean poets who shaped the literary scene. They may not always have reached the highest peaks, but their works often appear in exams, so let's map them clearly. We begin with Michael Drayton, born in 1563. He represents the later epoch of Elizabethan literature. His first book was The Harmony of the Church in 1591, but he is best remembered for his historical and geographical poems. England's heroical epistles and the Barons' Wars are long historical works, while Polyolbion is his most ambitious, a massive geographical poem written in Alexandrines. To be honest, it's often described as tedious, but it's important. Among his shorter works, note The Man in the Moon, it was asked in exam, and Nymphidia, one of his most charming poems. And here's the golden highlight, his sonnet, Since There's No Help, is widely regarded as his most inspired work. Next, Thomas Campion, born in 1567. Educated at Cambridge, he studied law, but later became a physician in 1606. But his fame rests not in law or medicine, but in poetry and music. He was a lyricist, writing songs often set to his own compositions. His best-known collections include A Book of Airs in 1601. This work was asked in exam, Songs of Mourning in 1613, and 2 Books of Airs also in 1613. Technically skilled, he mastered complex meters and sweet phrasing. Beyond lyrics, he wrote Observations in the Art of English Poesy in 1602. This was asked in exam, a prose work criticizing rhyme and favoring classical quantitative meters. His attack sparked a famous defense, which we'll come to shortly. That leads us to the Fletcher brothers, Phineas and Giles. These names were asked in exam. Both Cambridge men who later took holy orders. They followed the Spenserian tradition. Phineas wrote The Purple Island in 1633, an allegorical poem describing the human body in 12 cantos, imaginative but somewhat artificial. Giles Fletcher, by contrast, is remembered for Christ's victory and triumph in 1610, a 4-canto poem describing Christ's redemption. His ornate diction and melody partly inspired Milton's Paradise Regained. Both brothers imitated Spenser's stanza but slightly modified it, leaving out certain lines. While they lacked Spenser's genius, their poetry is rich in color, melody, and metrical artistry. Finally, Samuel Daniel, born in 1562 near Taunton. He was educated at Oxford and later became tutor to the son of the Countess of Pembroke. In 1599, he briefly held the role of poet laureate, and in 1603 he was made master of the Queen's Revels. His works include the sonnet sequence Delia 1592, the date was asked in exam, and the Complaint of Rosamond, also 1592, again asked in exam. He also wrote the historical poem The Civil Wars and Masks, such as The Queen's Wake and Hymen's Triumph. His most important prose contribution is A Defense of Rhyme. This was recently asked in exam, a spirited reply to Campion's observations in the art of English poesy. Here Daniel defended English verse, particularly rhyme, against classical objections, making it a landmark in Elizabethan poetics. So pause and lock these in. Drayton, The Man in the Moon, and Since There's No Help. Campion Physician in 1606. A Book of Airs. Observations in the Art of English Poesy. The Fletchers, Phineas's Purple Island, Giles's Christ's Victory, Milton inspired. Daniel Delia, Rosamond, Poet Laureate in 1599, and A Defense of Rhyme. These poets remind us that the Elizabethan and early Stuart period wasn't just about the towering figures, it was also about experiment, adaptation, and the ongoing defense of English poetry itself.